Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning episode 450 today, back on the topic of the NFL. Today, I'm going to be looking at who I think will be winning the AFC East. Obviously, a division over the past 2 decades has been dominated by the New England Patriots and Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, with the exception of last year. Of course, the Bills won the division. So this is a division that is emerging to be super competitive now that you have a Patriots team without Tom Brady and a Dolphins team that's good and a Bills team that's good and a Jets team that might be getting better after this draft. So I do think there is certainly some conversation to be had about the competition in this division. But before we get into the video, the question of the day, and that is who has won the AFC East the most in the history of the division, and bonus points if you know how many times that team has won it. Again, if you know the answer, comment below, and if you don't, stick around to the end of the video and we will discuss it then. But let's get right into it. Who do I think will be winning the AFC East? Well, I want to start with who I think will not be winning the AFC East, starting with the Jets. Obviously a team that has the potential to trade for Deshaun, but then they'd have to give up their first and second round picks most likely, or their 2 first round picks. And then, so like I said, they could get Deshaun, but they have to give up a lot. Or you could stay with Darnold, draft with your obviously second overall pick, draft Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Penei Sewell, whatever you want. But I don't think the Jets will be in contention for winning a division with the Patriots and the Bills and the Dolphins that have all been good over the past. Obviously, last year were much better than the Jets are going to be this coming season. So the Jets are out of the conversation now. Even if I'm a Jets fan, I am optimistic about what this season holds. This might be a season that I see the Jets win 6-7 games, which they haven't done in who knows how long. Or hell, maybe they go 500. I don't know. But the Jets are not going to win this division. And then the other team that I kind of want to rule out is, oddly enough, I want to rule out Miami for taking this division. They were a 10-6 team last year under Tua Tagovailoa and Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think Tua started 9 games. He went 6-3 as the starter, but several of those wins, one that comes to mind is at Las Vegas Raiders with the miracle completion by Fitzpatrick to end up winning the football game. That's a great example of the fact that Fitzpatrick allowed Tua to win a lot of those games because Tua didn't play hot. You throw in Fitzmagic, who has that name for a reason, and he comes out and wins the football game somehow. So with Fitzpatrick now headed to Washington, besides check our video out on that, we just did a video on that earlier. With Fitzpatrick headed to Washington, that eliminates Tua's anchor, Tua's mentor, Tua's, like I said, his reserve for when Tua's not playing. You stick Fitzpatrick in and hope for a miracle, which he's able to do. So I do have the Dolphins probably going 9-7 with Tua as the full-time starter. So that is not going to be good enough to win this division. So for the purpose of this video, the Jets are not going to win this division. They're out of contention, and I'm going to do the same for Miami. Even though Miami does have a pretty damn good defense and obviously a pretty solid offense, I'm not going to have them winning the division. Like I said, I think they'll win 9 games. So who that leaves, of course, the Bills and the Patriots. Obviously, the Patriots, a team that over the past 24 hours has absolutely gone after every single free agent available in football. So good for them. I mean, the list goes on of who they have signed. Of course, it started last week. They give Cam Newton a 1-year extension worth $14 million. Good for Cam, honestly. I wasn't a huge fan of that decision, but obviously they had a reason to do so, and I do think that he will have a better year than last year. Last year he threw for 2,600 yards and 8 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Yeah, something really bad. So Cam does have room to improve. I don't think he'll be any worse than he was last year. So that deal for them it was maybe not what I would have done, but who cares what I would have done. I think it's a risk, but Cam Newton, the risk to reward potential, I think, for only $14 million is certainly a positive move. But I mean, who have the Patriots acquired? From Baltimore, linebacker Matthew Judon. From Tennessee, these are all free agency acquisitions, by the way, no trading. Jonnu Smith from Tennessee, Nelson Aguilar from Las Vegas Raiders, Hunter Henry, tight end from the LA Chargers, Jalen Mills, cornerback from Philadelphia, Henry Anderson, defensive end from the Jets, Devon Godshaw, nose tackle from Miami, and Kendrick Bourne, wide receiver from the 49ers. So the Patriots have done perhaps the best job of any team that I can remember of going after who they need in free agency. Last year they had a serious offensive problem. They had no weapons for Cam to throw the ball to, hence why he struggled. They had Sony Michel in the backfield, who did not have a great year. I think he rushed for just under 500 yards. Cam had like 590, so Cam had more rushing yards than their running back did last year. At least their main running back in Sony Michel. So the offensive struggles last year that the Patriots had, straight up addressed right here. Like I said, Hunter Henry, you get him a good tight end. Jonnu Smith, you get him a great tight end. Nelson Aguilar, you get him an above average receiver. Kendrick Bourne from San Francisco, you get him a good receiver. So the list goes on for what the Patriots have done on offense. And then defensive side of the football, you have the potential to have one of the best defenses in the National Football League. Defensive Player of the Year 2019, Stephon Gilmore at cornerback. Patrick Chung making a return. These are guys that opted out of last year. So the defense that we saw from New England last year was just a shell of what we'll see this year. Like I said, Gilmore's back. Chung's going to be back. You got the McCourty brothers. You got Dante Hightower at linebacker. Now you got Godshaw at nose tackle for Miami. Henry Anderson, the D end, and then Matthew Judon from Baltimore, one of the better defenses in the National Football League, finding his way to New England as well. So this Patriots team has absolutely put themselves on the map to win this division. However, I still have the Bills taking this division. I do think the Bills are still an 11-12 win team like they were last year. I think last year I think they might have gone 13-3 last year. But I do think this Bills team will take the division. The Patriots just have too much of a gap to jump from what they were last year. Let me check for a second. Were they 7 wins last year? I don't think that they can make that jump. Yeah, they were 7-9 last year with the Bills going 13-3. So I don't think the Patriots can make the jump from 7-9 to jump the Bills, who I still think are going to win 12 or 13 games next year. Let's face it, the Bills have the best quarterback in the division. 100% Josh Allen is on the rise, and he's a lot more mobile than he gets credit for. I think Josh Allen runs the ball pretty well. He throws it very well. Got one of the strongest arms in the league. Not to mention he has a top 3 receiver in the league and one of the most electric duos between quarterback and receiver right now in national football, or in the National Football League. The Bills they do have some weaknesses at running back. I mean, last year their 2 running backs were Devin Singletary, who got injured against the 49ers, but I think he put up 600 yards roughly rushing last year, and then the secondary running back Zach Moss, who came in after him, put up 480. So between 2 guys, they put up roughly 1,100 rushing yards. Not impressive. We saw against Indianapolis in that first playoff game that the Buffalo Bills won, obviously in Buffalo against the Colts. They really, really, really struggled to run the ball, and Jonathan Taylor of the Colts ran the ball all over them. So the Bills' weaknesses right now that I want to identify is their rush defense and their rushing ability on the offensive side of the football. So the Bills are by no means a perfect team, but when you look at their quarterback, who's the best quarterback in the division, you look at their number 1 receiver, who's the best number 1 receiver in the division, I do think that they have enough to take the division with 12 or 13 wins. And then the Bills' secondary is definitely not bad. We saw their 107-yard pick 6 from Teron Johnson against the Ravens. You also got an old but still pretty good Josh Norman after his career was basically ended by Derrick Henry with that stiff arm. So they do have a pretty good defense. I mean, Micah Hyde at safety, another solid guy. So they have a good secondary. They don't defend the run very well. But then when you look at a team like New England who doesn't run the ball very well, I still think the Bills will take at least 1, probably 2 of the games against New England. But the New England's best quality will be their defense that can be top of the league based off all the guys that they did not have last year. Like I said, McCourty brothers, Chung, Gilmore. Those guys making a good, healthy return to 2021 should absolutely help that defense rise to the top. So in all honesty, I do have the Patriots winning 9-10 football games. 100%. Pending Cam Newton has at least a solid year. He's going to have a good enough defense to where Cam does not have to be great, and he's going to have enough weapons on offense to help him. So he just has to be solid, and this Patriots team will win 10 games. But all in all, to win the division, I have the Bills going 12-4, Patriots going 10-6. Obviously, leaving the Bills to win the division. I do think the Bills are the better team. Guys, comment below whether or not you agree that the Bills will still take the AFC East, because that's who I have winning the division. And that's all for the video. And as far as your question of the day, the Patriots have won the division the most times with 22 AFC East titles. Guys, thanks for watching. 2 in the morning.